Okay, we are live. All right. We're gonna do. We're gonna continue where we left off. I'm actually gonna perhaps. I don't know what to do here actually. Okay, I'll hide this window away. Okay, we're gonna continue where we left off the last video. Last video was part 5, I think. This is part 6. Towards the end of the last video, I laid out the next steps, but I forgot one important next step, which was the fitbox algorithm. Please excuse the noise there. Um, it's everybody staying at home to avoid the epidemic, and so my house can be a little noisy at times. But we'll deal with it. Do the best we can with what we've got here. Okay, so what do I mean by the fitbox algorithm? Well, the whole point of all of this is that we want to fit the content within a particular bounding box while maximize the display size of the content. So currently we haven't achieved that yet, because currently what we've said is, well, given a particular font size, if we were to lay out that content, then this code lays it out, and but laid it out in this box, given a particular font size. So what we want to solve for with the fitbox algorithm is that we want to actually, without being given a font size, we want to figure out, hey, what is the best font size to use to lay out this content within this larger box, or within a box of any size, or any position and any size. What's the best font size to use to maximally fit that content in it? So that we make most of the real estate in that box. So that's what we're going for. And I had a previous algorithm which was called fit text, which uses this binary search algorithm, which I'm gonna describe to you right now. And it should be very easy to adapt to this new box layout algorithm. So basically what fit text is let's say you have a bounding box, and you want to say, hey, may I fit some text in here? Let's say I want to fit the words hello world in there, and fit text is gonna start with a very, very small font size and try to see if that text will fit in that box. It will say, hey, hello world. I think I start at font size of 5 pixels and say, hey, that's the text. And if I render this text, it would be this tall and this wide. Does it fit in the box? Yes. If it fits in the box, it's not gonna be satisfied and stop there. But instead, because it's trying to maximize the font size so that the text can make use of most of the real estate within the box. The way it does this is by it'll double the font size until the text expands outside of the box. So it'll try, hey, let me double this font size and see if it will still fit in the box. And in this case, it does. So it'll double the font size again. And it still fits in the box, so it'll double the font size yet again. And now we reach the point where the text doesn't fit in the box anymore. And at this point, it's gonna take the font size of the sort of like of the case that didn't work, and the last case that did work. And so, and like one is the upper bound and one is lower bound. It'll find the largest case. It'll fine tune it so that we get the biggest font size that can still fit in the box. And the way it does that is it finds the midpoint between this size and this size, and then see, hey, does that fit in the box? And if that fits in the box, it'll find the midpoint again. Or if that doesn't fit in the box, or then it'll find the other midpoint and try that one until you get a fine enough point that still fits in the box that we consider that to be the largest. So that's how the algorithm works. I'm gonna dig out the code for fit text and we'll adapt it for fit box, which will be our new algorithm. And I would like to publish this code somewhere. So perhaps after this session, if it goes well, we'll post this code on GitHub. And if you're interested, you can go play with it. Okay, so first I'm gonna go dig out that code, which I think I have it in Playground Deep Zoom Debugger. Let me check the streaming conditions. Okay, it's telling me that it's excellent right now, although a moment ago it was not, but I'm gonna ignore that. Okay, so this is the fit text algorithm. Oh, interesting. We lost the syntax highlighting for TypeScript. I decided to turn off TypeScript support, and because I felt like my computer was getting it was like spinning too hard. It was working too hard, so I decided to take some load off of it. But now I don't get the syntax highlighting, which I can live with actually. Let's just deal with this. Okay, so we start the font size at 5, and we have a lower bound font size and an upper bound font size, which I think I need some reminder what those actually are. Whereas this algorithm is trying to like lay out and measure text, we will actually use our box layout algorithm to do that instead. But let's see. This if statement is key to the algorithm. It's saying basically if I try to lay out the text, but in our new case it's going to be the boxes. If I try to lay it out, and if all of the text fit within the bounding box, then we're going to do this. Otherwise we'll do the other thing. So if it all fit, then we're going to change the lower font size to be the font size where it all fit. But if it didn't fit, then the upper font size is gonna change. So that's the midpoint thing. So my lower font size is good. This is lower, and I have an upper font size. The upper font size is it's always did not fit. If you made it into, if it's the upper font size, is always the case that with the upper font size, the text does not fit in the box. Whereas the lower font size, it's always the case if it's the lower font size does fit into the box. And we're more trying to squeeze to fine tune the largest lower font size possible, which will mean the largest font size possible where the text or the box in our new case will still fit in the bounding box that we're trying to render it within. Um, I don't know why I need this extra if statement to decide whether this exists or not, because we just said it. Could this font size be undefined? I'm not sure. So that's confusing. That's interesting. But I wrote this code a long time ago, so I'm I'm having to relearn it right now. But if there's no upper font size, we're gonna say font size. Oh, if this is upper font size, not lower font size. We set lower font size, then we're testing upper font size. Understood. Okay. So if we haven't found the upper limit, which means we haven't even found a font size where the text doesn't fit anymore, we're just gonna double the font size, which is what I just explained how this guy works. But if in the other opposite case, this is like if there is no lower font size, which I guess that happens because even font size of 5, even the font size of 5 would potentially not fit in the box. But we don't have to choose 5. Well, we could choose 10 or 100. If it doesn't fit, then there would not be a lower bound that this doesn't exist, right? So if this doesn't exist, we're actually gonna basically divide the font size by 2. We're going down to try to find the lower limit. So, but okay, I think that makes sense. But in the case where we do have an upper limit and we just set the lower limit, we're gonna find the midpoint, and that's the new font size. So this is the midpoint. And but if the midpoint is not any different from the current one, we're done, because we try to find the upper font size and font size were basically close enough or equal so that this divide by 2 didn't do anything. And then the algorithm is done. That's the closest we could find, basically. So I think this logic stays as is here. I think the only code that actually changes is probably this code here. So I'm gonna try to copy all of this code and only replace this part. This one is going out, and then we're bringing a new piece of code in here. So I'm gonna try to steal liberally this fit text function. But I'm gonna rename it to fit box. All right. Okay, so this is the window where I'm testing this code. Okay, so I'm gonna rename this guy to fit box. I'm going to I think make a readme file here. For now, I'm just gonna say box layout and fit box, and put the to-dos in here. This is what I usually do. Okay, and I'll delete this untitled file. Okay. Text measure, that was done to for performance reasons, which we may need again, but for now I'm not gonna use it because to simplify this code. We will need the font stuff because we'll need to be able to change the font size, so the text measurer will, because without the text measurer, we're gonna ask the context to measure text for us. So yeah, we'll need to be able to set the font size, which currently where does that happen? Okay, this code actually renders the text, and I don't want that, I think. So I'm not going to actually render the text. Well, I might, but that would just be a call to my render function. Where is the actual... Okay, I think this code here needs to do the measuring here. Okay. So I'm gonna need the font family and the font weight. Line height, I'm gonna take that out of the equation just to simplify things for now. And this guy is not gonna be text now, it's gonna be a box, which is gonna be one of our new styled boxes. I'll follow my earlier convention of putting the context as the last parameter. So we'll try to fit this box into a B box. So the first parameter is a box, and then the second parameter is a B box, and then you're gonna pass in a font family and a font weight. It will figure out a font size for you, and then also render it. We could potentially make those things 2 steps, but it wasn't that way before, so I'm not gonna make that. I'm not gonna change that, for at least for now. Okay, so actually this draws the bounding box, and that's fine. I'll leave that code here. And I did say that this code probably doesn't have to change at all. So perhaps at the end I'm just gonna log the font size. And then the only code that needs to change is probably these lines here. So I'm gonna comment out these lines. Okay, so what do we need to do with the new framework? Well, we need to call the layout function. Oh, now I don't have the help from TypeScript anymore, and I had to kind of look at my layout function to figure out what it wants. It wants a box, and then an offset, and then a font size, and then a context. Okay. Let me put that here. Okay, it wants these 4 things. So a box, I got a box here. Offset would be x colon b box x, y colon b box y, because that's just the top left corner of the bounding box. The font size is this font size, the variable we're trying to figure out, and then the context. Okay, I think that's probably it. And then out of that shall come a bounding box map, and then we can look up that bounding box map. I was like, my b box should be the result of looking up that map on myself, which is box, and then my bounding box, I'm gonna ask whether my bounding box fits within this bounding box. So I guess that would be, is it true that my width, if so, I guess that will determine whether off fit is true or not. So let me bring off this line up here. So everything fit if my bounding box's height, this would be b box now. So this would be this b box. So my box's height, my b box's height is less or equal to the b box's height, and my b box's width is also less than the b box's width, then everything fit. So I'm gonna see whether I can call this function in my code. Here. Who is it? So I have a box. Give me one sec.
Can you be prepared for running at 5:30?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Can you close the door? Okay. That was my son Marty. He wants to go running with me at 5:30. That's gonna be about 40 minutes away, so hope I can finish this task before then, but I think I'm fairly close. I actually didn't update this text, so I'm gonna implement the fit box algorithm. It changed it to firebox. Okay, so fitbox. Fitbox is gonna need a box. Jesus, let me. What parameters does fitbox need? Why did I turn off the language support? Why? It's gonna need a box, a bounding box, font family, and font weight. So, okay. The box I want is actually this box. This box. So that starts at 100 here. Okay. I want to use this bounding box and try to get it to render the font size as large as possible to expand this out to use all available space within this box. And I already have that box in this bbox variable. But box is this box, so I get box, bbox. The font family, oh, I forgot to do one thing, but the font family is going to be in Consolata, and then the font weight is going to be normal, and then the canvas context is CTX. I'm going to call this guy, and it'll at this point it won't do anything, but it'll just print out the font size to use, I think. But I did forget to do one thing, which I'm gonna do now, which is, in order to get it to get this layout algorithm to do its job correctly, I actually need to set the font in the canvas context. Okay, and to put the font weight in here, and then the font size and the font family here before I do this layout thing, which will use measure text in there. That was important. And the font size is, again, the font size were the variable that we're trying to optimize for. Font family and font weight have been passed in as fixed parameters. Let's see if this worked. I should print out the font size that it calculated. I have a line 36 has an error, so let's go there. Oh, this line is no longer relevant. It did give me a font size of 35. Interesting. Oh. I think that's a good sign. I'm gonna turn off the existing code that's rendering it. So this stuff, whoops. So perhaps fitbox is, I could make fitbox give me the font size. Actually, I could do it like that, or I could just have fitbox render it for me as well. Maybe I just have it do it that way, at least for now. Okay, so instead of this code that renders it, I'm gonna replace it with this. It's gonna lay out the box based on this calculated font size now. Again, but this guy is gonna be coming from the bbox.x and bbox.y. Yeah. And then it's sort of a re-render this thing, which we could have actually not. This was gonna be a double layout, but we could optimize this call away if we wanted to. But I'm just gonna try this. Oh, beautiful, very cool. So if we decided to render this text box in a larger bounding box, let's say maybe I'm gonna start it at 50-50 and change the width and height to 400-400. That it'll do that, and that looks quite good, very good. And if I do it from 0, 0 to 500, 500, very nice. I'm gonna revert to 400, 400 because I like the way that visual looked. I'm gonna use it for the thumbnail, perhaps. Okay. Okay. So one thing I said back there is I could probably optimize it, like save a call to layout here because it would have already calculated it. Oh, I can delete this old code here. So now this code looks a little bit more, well, it's shorter now. So I can probably, because it already calculated this layout here, so I probably don't need to call it again here, this bbox map. So maybe I have this bbox map be a variable that's declared outside of the loop, and when it says that this is good enough, that should be the bbox map that we end up with, I believe. So then we don't actually have to do this step, is my guess. Let's see if that works. Yeah, it worked. Let me change it to use different parameters. Maybe I try to put this in with a height of 200 instead of 400, and that works as well. So this is great. I'm happy with this. I'm gonna probably just clean this up and publish this code to YouTube. Let me just make a I mean, not YouTube. Oh yes, YouTube, but also to GitHub. I'm going to make a git ignore file. Probably gonna call this guy box layout. Okay. Oh, I already have this. Okay. So I'm gonna go to GitHub and come on GitHub, load it up for me. Okay. Make a new project on GitHub. Call this box layout. Okay, maybe I should call this fit box actually. So a box layout framework / algorithm that can find the optimized font size for rendering within a bounding box. So if you're interested in looking into this code, it's on my GitHub. It's called Fitbox, and I'm going to publish that right now. I'm not. Let me make a first commit. first commit. Now I'm gonna publish it, and that should work.
Ooh.
Okay, here's the code. I'll probably freshen up the README a little bit more, but it'll be there for you if you go there and find out the code. Okay, that's all I got for you. I'm gonna stop this stream, and thanks for watching. Hope to see you next time.